Hola everyone, welcome to Alice in Mindful Land. My name is Carrie and I am a mental health blogger and advocate, and on today's video I want to talk about mindfulness. This is kind of a big deal for me, hence the name of the channel. And if you want to know a bit more about why I chose this name, you can check out my first video that I posted on this channel. I'm gonna leave a link above, and also I'm gonna put it down below in the description box. But now let's get into the video. First, what I want to do is tell you what mindfulness is not, so that way we can talk about what mindfulness actually is. So there are several misconceptions about mindfulness. The first one is that mindfulness is the same as meditation. And actually meditation is one of the ways to practice mindfulness, but there are many more ways of practicing it. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to mention a few ways that you can practice mindfulness. Another very common misconception about mindfulness, or in this case about mindfulness meditation, is that it's a kind of a mystical activity that involves zoning out or being out of your body in this magical state of stillness, which actually mindfulness is the contrary. Mindfulness is being present now in the moment. And that brings me to the concept of mindfulness, which is the practice of bringing yourself intentionally to the things happening now in the present. Is the ability to bring your mind back to the present. And this skill is achieved through training and meditation. And now that I'm talking about the concept of mindfulness, I want to introduce you to this book written by my mindfulness role model, Ruby Wax. She's an amazing lady, and I really like her definition of mindfulness. Well, first of all, she says that mindfulness is a way of exercising your ability to pay attention, and when you can bring your focus to something, the critical thoughts quieten down. But then she says that her definition of mindfulness is noticing your thoughts and feelings without kicking your own ass while you're doing it. And what she means by this is that when you're practicing mindfulness, your mind is going to wander. And this is something that I learned in DBT, or Dialectical Behaviour Therapy. And they taught me that it's okay. Your brain is designed to have, I don't know how many millions of thoughts, and it's perfectly normal that when you're practicing mindfulness or when you're meditating, your mind is going to wander. Your brain is going to want to have your attention again, because it's used to it. So it's going to be, pay attention to me. And that's okay. Nobody can have their mind in, like blank. That's impossible unless you are this like enlightened being that lives on the top of a mountain. And so what Ruby Wax means by not kicking your own ass is noticing those thoughts that you're having while trying to meditate or practice mindfulness, and without judgment, just bringing your mind back to the present, realizing, oh, again, I stopped paying attention, and I'm thinking about all the things that I have to do today. And I used to be very self-judgmental. I used to say, I'm shit, I can't do this, because I can't even concentrate, and I'm always going to be like this. But in therapy, they taught me that just by the fact that I was noticing that my mind had drifted, I was being mindful, and that was a big help, because it allowed me to stop judging myself and realizing it's normal, and just have a look at those thoughts without judging yourself, or without judging the thought, without paying much attention to it, and just letting them go. One thing that I really like is imagining the thoughts in a physical way, and with my eyes closed while I'm doing the meditation, for example, when I notice that I'm thinking about something else, is imagining that thought and as a physical thing, and imagine that I put it in a cloud and that it flies away. Some days you will have more worries or stress, and your thoughts are gonna keep coming and going. As long as you're aware and then you bring them back, that's okay. Not everything works in the same way for everybody. My mind never stops, and that's why I prefer guided meditations, because I have someone telling me what to do next, and when I'm paying attention and listening to that voice that is giving me tools to be in the present, then it's more difficult for my mind to go somewhere else. One thing that I really like is the Calm application. I've mentioned it before, but I'll put the information down below again. And I really like this app because it has different meditations for different things, like self-soothing, managing emotions, for concentration, or for self-confidence. I was always very skeptical, and I wasn't a meditation yoga person. I was always quite critical. I was like, I don't believe in all that bullshit, that's not for me. But now, having learned mindfulness in DBT, because mindfulness is basically the core of this therapy, I've learned the benefits and the why practicing mindfulness is so beneficial for people with depression or anxiety. It's not this think positive and everything will be fine. No, this lady actually, she went through a horrible depression, and she wanted to study and understand why she went through that and the ways that she could get better. And she studied mindfulness, but also she studied how mindfulness helps rewire your brain. It helps training your brain, and she became kind of obsessed with how the brain works, and that's why she went to Oxford and studied this. And she realized that everyone thinks that we are, like pre-packaged and set in stone at birth, but this is actually not true. Our brains keep changing, and our brain is plastic. And when she was studying the best ways to deal with her depression, she found that mindfulness is the best way. Obviously, she also talks about medication. I take medication myself, and it really helps. Antidepressants help with my depression, but with mindfulness I have managed to improve my mental health in so many ways. As a person with borderline personality disorder, I have problems controlling my emotions, and with impulsivity, I am a very impulsive person. But with mindfulness, I'm training my brain to stop and to control certain things that before I wasn't able to control. When I realized that I could train myself and train my brain to control these things and to change these patterns of behavior, I started doing it right away, and I started practicing and practicing and practicing. And it was really, really hard at the beginning and frustrating, but the more you practice, the easier it gets. And it's like the gym. If you go just once, you're not going to notice any results. But if you do it every day, if you take a few minutes every day, then you start seeing the results. And in my case, I've noticed recently that I am applying mindfulness several times a day. But I am being able through this practice to be in the moment now, and this is incredibly helpful because as a person who suffers from depression, I live in the past, or I used to live in the past, all the time thinking about what was and what's no longer and why, and I would get into these huge circles of rumination. And with mindfulness, I've been able to stop that. And not only I stop those intrusive thoughts, but I realize even before they start. And by doing things where I apply this skill, I manage to stop them even before they start. And yeah, it is hard work, but it's worth it. And that brings me to the practical part of this video. I want to tell you a few things that you can do to practice mindfulness. One of them is the meditation that I mentioned. You can use the Calm app, you can use the free version. I use the paid one because I decided to make an investment, £6 a month, in something that is going to help me improve my mental health. But you can do it has a few that are free, and you can try it and then see if you want to go for the paid version. You can find guided meditations on YouTube, but there are also other things that you can do. One of them is in the shower or in the bath, if you're lucky enough to have a bathtub. You can pay attention to the different things that you can notice. So you can use your senses. You can pay attention to how the water feels when it hits your skin. You can smell, bath bombs or salts, or even just, your shampoo. Just paying attention to all those things without thinking about other things, or of what you have to do next. Just enjoying the shower, and that only takes a few minutes. Remember, if you start thinking about something else, be aware of it, bring it back, put it in a cloud, on a leaf, watch it go away, and go back to enjoying your shower. Another of the mindfulness exercises that I really like is the paying attention to the 5 senses. The normal 5 senses, sight, smell, touch, hearing, taste. So I talked about this in a previous video of something that I did to deal with my anxiety. And it was it doesn't have to be so complicated. You can choose where you're standing at the moment, or wherever you are. You can pay attention to things that you see. Try to pay attention to 3 things that you can hear. Right now, if I pay attention, I can listen to my clock ticking. I can listen to some very distant sounds on the street, and I can also hear the sound that my fridge makes. That's one sense. But what I did and that I talked about in this video was I made myself a very relaxing place. I have something that I call my reading corner, so I made it pretty like comfy with pillows and everything. So I prepared that place, and it was something very pleasant to see. I lit up a candle that can also have a very calming effect, and it was also a scented candle, so that was my smell senses being involved. I put some relaxing music, some nice jazz that I like. It can be anything else. Oh, and for the touch, I grab my little friend Gizmo and it could be anything. It could be a stress ball, it could be something that you can squeeze. I was squeezing him. It sounds a bit childish, but it helped me relax, and also like involved the sense of touching. It could be if you have a pet. I don't have a pet but I'd love to have one soon. But if you have a pet, that's something that's so helpful, so you can pet your kitty or your puppy. That's one of the exercises that I wanted to talk to you about. And you'll see that when you're thinking or engaging in those activities, in this case in the one that involves the 5 senses, your mind is there, because it's very simple. Your mind can't be in 2 places at the same time. It doesn't work like that. The brain doesn't work like that. Another exercise that I really like, because I can do it anywhere, is when I'm outside, or when I'm on the train or on the bus, I pick a color and I start counting all the things that I can see that have that color. That way you're focusing your mind in this activity. So you can see that sign in the bus is I don't know, green. That lady's jumper, let's see what else, that guy's book. Other benefits of mindfulness, apart from the neuroplasticity of the brain, apart from training your brain to think in a different way, to be less stressed, to be focused on things that are not the past that depresses you, or all the things that can worry you. Other than that, there are so many benefits. There are studies that say that it can improve your immune system. It makes it more difficult for your body to get depressed. It can help controlling your temper. It can help you sleep, even fall asleep faster. It helps with your focus and concentration, which makes sense because you're all the time focusing, training your brain to focus on something. So then when you have to focus on work or studying, then it gets easier. Another way of practicing mindfulness is when you are eating something. You can start by, if it's a piece of fruit, you can start by touching the piece of fruit and paying attention to its texture, how it feels in your hand, how it looks, if it's ripe. And then when you bite into it, you can pay attention to how it feels in your mouth before starting to chew. You can feel how the texture is feels in your mouth. And then when you're chewing, if it's something that you really like, that's even better because you can concentrate more on that. Practicing mindfulness in all of these ways will help you enjoy things more. You're not going to be on your phone. So all of that helps you feel more relaxed, helps you not be so stressed in your everyday life. So yeah, more or less this is everything that I wanted to tell you about mindfulness for now. Let me know how you found this video, if you think it was helpful or it could be helpful. If you decide to try some of these exercises or meditation, leave me any comment below. Let me know if you have other ways of practice mindfulness. I would love to know because I'm always trying to find more and it can help someone else. And if you have seen any of my other videos, or if not, go check them out. Consider subscribing to my channel. As always, remember you are not alone in your struggles with mental health. So many of us do struggle with this, and with things like mindfulness, we are able to get better. Your life can improve if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to give it a try. Things get better, and have hope because it will get better. And be kind to yourself, be compassionate, try not to judge yourself, and try to love yourself. Remember, it's very important for mindfulness not to judge yourself. Thoughts are thoughts, we all have them. I have 1,172,000. So do you. So it's all good. But just give it a try and then let me know. That's it. Bye.